Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another review of SISTAS on BET. SISTAS on BET. We're on season 6, episode 1, entitled Straight No Chaser. Just a little recap of season 5. First, before I do that, I'm just gonna go ahead and make this prediction up front and say that we only got about one more season. Because I'm fucking tired. I'm pretty much tired of talking about some of the same stuff. And whatever. Last season, Sabrina and Maurice are fighting the case because Q set them up and lied to the FBI, saying that they were in on the bank robbery. Calvin finally whoops Q's ass, gets in the field. Andy is playing middleman between Gary and Robin because she has a vested interest in becoming partner. Blah, blah, blah. Gary and Hayden tried to stage a hostile takeover, but Robin was able to come up with his money. Aaron just got done arguing with some chick outside of Karen's shop. And Maurice went to get his car back from Q. And in said incident where he went to go get his car back from Q, they start struggling over a gun that Q presented to the situation. And that is where we pick up at episode 1. All right, so we're in the middle of fighting with Maurice and Q over the gun, and the gun goes off. And Q has gotten shot in the, I don't know. It looks like his chest, but it also looks like his shoulder, and it also looks like Heinz. I'm sorry. The ketchup was giving the blood was giving very much ketchup. It was giving very much tomato paste. And for you to be a billionaire, Mr. Perry, I needed for that to be a little bit more convincing. How Aaron followed him, and he walks up after the gun goes off, after everything's gone down. And he says, "Hey, I told you not to come up here," and realizes that Maurice has been shot. Maurice wants to run away because he said, "I ain't going back to jail. I'm just not going to be able to do it." And Aaron tells him, like, "Listen, you got to do the right thing. Let's just call the people and wait." And so Maurice is like, "Okay, do what you got to do, but I don't want no parts. I hope he, get up out of here." And so Maurice wants him to expire. He wants Q to sit there. He is livid. Now it is cloaked in, sarcasm. It is cloaked in Maurice-isms, it's cloaked in all those things, but he is livid. He is pretty much fed up with being fed up with Q and his mess, and this is just his last straw. And so, he really don't give a damn if he live or die at this point. And so Q is on the ground and he's just rolling around, and that's how we open episode 1. Danny's at the bar and she is drunk as a skunk. Last episode, the girls staged a intervention to see, why she's inviting strange men back when she's going through certain things. She's done this before, in the past in college. And so what's the problem? She ran away from her own apartment, ends up at the bar, and she is drunk as a skunk. The bartender tells her, like, "Listen, I'm cutting you off and I'm taking your car keys." Then Preston rolls up beside her and she accuses him of having a tracker on her, which, reasonable assumption, because, girl, out of all the places in Atlanta, you come to the place I'm at. And he claims that him and Misty, Mindy, Molly, whatever her name is, Miss Girl, were out having dinner and he happened to see her. And he offers to introduce Danny in her drunken stupor to the girl, which is probably the dumbest idea he's had this season, but this is what he, thinks is necessary. The bartender calls Andy on the slide and tells her, "You need to come get Andy." And in true, SISTAS fashion, they have to wrangle up the troops. So she calls everybody else and they're all headed to the same direction to go get Danny from the bar. All right. The ambulance is now hauling Q off to the hospital, and the police are asking Maurice, like, "What happened? Like, what's going on, Mr. Maurice? What happened?" And he tells them, like, he was robbed at gunpoint. Q was the aggressor. He came to get his stuff back. Blah, blah, blah. But he's giving this cop so much attitude that I'm surprised he didn't get arrested. Anyway, the cops asked him, like, "Why were you at Q's job?" And he was like, "I came to get my stuff. Why are you in my face? Like, run the cameras. You said there's cameras here. Like, run the cameras. Get out my face. We don't have much to talk about." Like, giving that type of sass. And he tells him, like, "Listen, I have that information. Don't go too far. Don't leave the country. But y'all free to go for now." And so Maurice had, like I put in my notes here, Maurice has the nerve to have an attitude with the cop. Now, that's dumb. Let me tell you why that's dumb. Because, sir, first of all, you are out on bail, bond, The money you put up, bond, bail, I don't know nothing about none of that. Either way, you out on bail, and you should be on your best behavior, because if you commit any crimes while you're out on bail, it's rescinded. Oh boy has lost his $1 million, and you're going back to the pokey. So you need to be on your best behavior. 2, if you want to present yourself as a victim, you need to be said victim when the cops get there. If you catch my drift, you can't be rah rah rah, and then when it's time to go to court, you, oh my God, he was trying to kill me, Your Honor. Was fighting for all. No, you have to have that energy on the scene, because from the time that the people get there, everything is admissible in court. All right? If you ain't learned nothing from How to Get Away with Murder, you got to be able to set the scene. Okay? That's a show, TV show. Google it. All right. Moving right along. Zach and Fatima, exhausting. They're very exhausting to me. Like I think I said before on one of the other reviews, they're exhausting to me on this series, but I like them more on their series. I think that's what I said. It might be vice versa. I like Fatima more on this series than Zatima, but I like them together on Zatima better than I like them in here, because they're almost kind of like a filler, like a placeholder. They don't ever really have a place. I don't know. They just seem out of place to me on this series. And that may be, in order to phase them out of this series. I don't know. That's my guess. Either way, he asked her, like, why are you so cool with everything that's going on in my life? She is really not cool with the situation, but she knows that it's what it comes with the package that is Zach currently. He's also worried about Heather, is she a bad mom? Because look how, he tells Fatima, like, look how she perked up when money was mentioned. Like, I don't want my child to grow up like I did. It's just not happening. He's thinking, worst case scenario immediately. And she tells him, let's just cross one bridge at a time. Let's invite them to dinner. Let's get to know Heather as a mother. Maybe see where they're living. Let's paint the picture first before we take action, if that's what we need to do. And then they have another little conversation, which kind of pissed me off a little bit, because they bring up the, mind you, Zach brought up the body count situation. I guess they're, putting all this stuff on the table. And he asked her body count. She was like, oh, 7. Just straight up and down. She tells him, like, listen, I've been in long-term relationships, a couple little one-offs, but 7, that's my number. Since we asked him questions, what's your number? And he quiet, he sleep, he don't want nothing to talk about. And she tells him, like, listen, it really don't matter. It was before me. It's not my, you brought up the conversation. Like, it's okay with me. It's just a number. Like, well, we could stop. We could leave it right here. And that's cool or whatever. But drop it in the comments. What is the body count conversation? Like, what do you gain from knowing someone's body count? That's what I never really understand, because it's not like they can the people. They can't undo the count, right? Even if the count is 1, if it's 0, if it's 358, y'all do know that the feminine anatomy prepares itself and gives birth, right? So the distance, okay, this is a child's head. The distance with which a baby needs to come on up out of there, plus shoulders, which are wider than your head, comes through that location. So there's not much damage. You know what? This ain't the platform. I'm just saying, let's just kill the body count conversation. It's not gonna add nothing. You can't unless people are associating your value with your body count, which is also dumb as hell. But I digress. Let's just move on. Let's just not do the body count conversations, because it doesn't add nothing to anybody's life. Moving right along. The girls show up, and they're having a heart-to-heart with Danny at the bar in the restaurant. They all admit that, a lot of her opinions have been right, and they just want to kind of level her and let her know, like, listen, we weren't out to attack you or whatever. We you girls, we all got problems. A lot of the opinions you had about our relationships and things of the sort, you have been right. So, we're giving you grace. We ain't judgmental. We just were worried about you. And then Karen goes on to tell the girls about Aaron and Miss Girl arguing out in the front of the salon. And then they're getting ready to leave, and Andy, somebody notices that Preston and Miss Molly, you in danger, girl, is sitting in the bar. And everybody's like, what? You don't see them? Like, mind you, this ain't the attention you need to bring to Danny because she's already denied the invitation. Now you're bringing it back up to her remembrance, which is going to be a problem. So, she's interested in going over to say, to say hello to the lucky couple because, they're engaged to be married. Let me go introduce myself. So Danny pimp walks / stumbles over to the table, right? And, it turns out that he's talked to Mindy about Danny, I guess, in the situation. And now he all nervous and he don't really want to talk because he don't know what's going to come out of Danny's mouth. He knows that Mindy is demure and docile and all of those things. And Danny is not in the least bit any of those things. So he's not sure how this interaction is going to go. Well, you put the invitation on the table. So now you quiet. You don't got nothing to talk about. Sir, Preston pissed me off in this scene. Let's just keep going. All right. So, now he wants to talk. And Danny's like, okay, let's talk. Let's do it right here and right now. Seems like we all been talking anyway. Hey, Miss Mindy girl, let's talk. And Preston tells her, no. What we're going to do is I'm going to drop Mindy off at the hotel and I'm going to meet you back at your place later to finish the conversation. And Miss Mindy sat there in her Molly, you in danger elegance. And she was like, okay. I looked around like, okay. So your man gonna drop you out back at the hotel to go talk to a lady that he was romantically involved with in a one-on-one conversation at her house? You're better than me, Mindy. And that's exactly what Danny told her. You better than me. Because I don't know no other ladies that would be willing to do what you gonna do. But girl, congratulations. And, whatever. She's putting on the show. She's drunk as hell. And so he says, and she also notices, hey, I like that ring. Because this is the same ring that Preston proposed to Danny with. And when she turned it down, he passed it over to Mindy. And she tells Mindy, how does it feel to be basically second runner up because I said no to him? And Mindy's like, it's okay. I just wanted him to get it out of his system before we tie the knot. Now I'm all about a good closed chapter, a good resolution, all those things. How you would have needed to resolve that before now, my guy. You would have needed to resolve that before now. Anyway, and then he was like, they were talking about something, and he was like, hey, well, I'm in love with her, but he was not looking at either of the two. And so the message is confused, and Danny and Mindy's like, kind of gloating in the statement, and Danny tells her, like, who do you think he's talking about? Because we all know he's talking about Danny. Mindy just happens to be, it's like second best, like runner up, like, okay, well, I'll settle for you because what I really want doesn't want me, type of stuff. So yeah. So we'll see what happens with that next episode, I guess. Moving right along. Maurice and Aaron, they get home and he's still not sorry. Not even in the least bit. It is what it is. I'm going to bed. Maurice is his only concern at this point is putting back together, whatever's left of his life, because a lot of his life has been uprooted by being in friendship, relationship, situationship, whatever the ship is with Q. Your job is lost. I'm sure you've lost money. Everything in your home is gone. Like, you lost everything for this one person. So now he don't care if he lives or dies. He just wants to start putting the pieces of his life back together, which, reasonable under these circumstances, I suppose. Now, only thing is, if he dies, you don't get an opportunity to put shit back together because you're going to prison, my guy. But whatever. Let's just go with it and see what happens. All right. Aaron, okay, I already said Preston pissed me off this episode, but Aaron, you kind of pissed me off too. Now, Preston, more than you, But you, Mr. Aaron preacher, fornicating preacher, you, my guy, you second runner up. Anyway, let's move on. Aaron is standing outside of Karen's apartment, talking to her. She's not allowing him to go up because she ain't with the shit, which, fair, you're within your right. He explains that he started to see the girl briefly. It was nothing serious. Karen is mad, but he reminds her that they were going back and forth. So it was during the time that they were going back and forth. They were in and out. Karen didn't know what she wanted to do, which is why I'm not a proponent of the on again, off again, on again, off again, because lots of things happen on the mouse. There'll be a lot of things going down on the mouse, and the mouse be affecting you when you on. I don't know who that message is for, but you apply that to your life. Anyway, then he goes on to call the woman crazy. And Karen reminds him, oh, just like crazy like how your wife was, or like you said your wife was, ex-wife, excuse me. And she just flat out asked him, like, are you the type of dude that like kind of love bomb women and then gaslights them? And he's looking dumbfounded. He denies the allegation. But this is the second person that has been super crazy over you, and you have been innocent, and you have just been this knight in shining armor, and these women are just crazy. And I don't tend to believe it. I don't think your luck is that bad. I don't think you're that great of a person that you just attract all these people that just need all this assistance and this help. I just feel like minds are alike, and there's something in you that's a little bit crazy. But also, we all know that the crazy card is a lot of time not the true case, and there's more under the surface. And so we'll get into it. He's very convincing in this episode, but I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it. Ain't no way you got two women just super stupid about your cone-headed ass. It's not happening. Anyway, and she tells him like something is off. And until I figure it out, we're just going to have to chill, my guy. Claims that the girl fell in love with him. Blah, blah, blah. We'll figure it out later. Karen asked Pam to send her pictures of her turning everything off. And she did. And so after the conversation with Aaron, Karen looks at it and she was like, Pam, you got to be dumb as hell. Do you see the red light on the curling iron? I thought that meant it was cooling down. No, dummy. That means that it's still on. So now Karen has to rush back to the shop to turn the curls off. Well, Karen gets to the shop and it is on fire. There is an active fire inside of her beauty shop, and she rushes in to get the fire extinguisher, and it fails. Now, for me, let me back up a step. Coming from me, somebody that has opened a door and faced an actual fire, something about that heat whooshing into your goddamn face will make you close that goddamn door and let the professionals handle it. It just wouldn't have been me rushing into the shop. That's what insurance is for. You shouldn't have ran your super stupid, skinny, pregnant ass in there to fight no fires. I know that that's your livelihood, but it's also your life. So don't do that. Don't just come for me. Don't do that. When the fire is confined and you pull a door open, all that wind that comes with it brings all that heat from the fire. So that's not wise. Just a little fire marshal bill tip for the people. Anyway, she rushes in to get the fire extinguisher to put it out, and the fire. Why I keep saying fire? The fire extinguisher fails. It fails, and now she cannot put out the fire. She's overcome by smoke. Another fire tip that you should have learned in elementary school. If you in the fire, your job is to get low because the smoke and the heat rises. So you're going to inhale a lot more smoke standing up as opposed to being low. And so now she's succumbing to the smoke, and she has passed out in the smoke and fire-filled beauty shop. And that's it. The smoke is too much. She passed out, and this is where we end the episode. Now, hopefully, somebody's able to come and assist Karen. The only worry that I have is in the previous to the next episode, it seems like Aaron calls Pam because he was trying to call her and was not able to get in touch with her. And Pam says, oh crap, I remember she went to the beauty shop the night before. that could be 8 hours of her being in there, you know, consumption, all that good stuff. But let's just hope for the best. Anyway, that has been season 6, episode 1. Looking forward to what's going to come from the season. Predictions for this season. Little Miss Decoy Girl that Fatima has planted in with Hayden. I think she's gonna take him for every goddamn dime. Because there's in the preview she did say to Fatima, like, I can get more money, like I can get it all if you just stick with me. So hopefully she can clean him out, you know, to destitution. What I want for Hayden's life is I want like a Snowfall type of ending. I want him to be Franklin. I don't want you to reach the pinnacle of success. I want you, how he ended is how I want him to end. Not dead, just in your suffering and your own decisions. That's what I want for Hayden's life. Gary. I don't have no predictions for the Robin, Gary, and Andy situation because I feel like it's going to go on for a whole nother season with no resolution. Karen, somebody's going to show up in time to help her out. That's my prediction. I also feel like Maurice getting shot could prove to be beneficial because the cameras are going to show that he pulled the gun, which he also has an anchor monitor on, and so that's going to maybe put him back in jail and diminish his credibility when it comes to the case that is against Sabrina and Maurice. That's my hope. That is almost my predictions for the season. Again, season 6, episode 1. Let me know what y'all think about the episode in the comments. Like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.